Manchester United are a step closer to signing Weghorst. More talks are happening today to finalize the deal between Burnley and Batiskas. Man United have agreed personal terms. That is done. That is dusted. Burnley and Manchester United have a full agreement there, and it's just the final piece of this triangle to be completed. Also today, going to talk about the situation with Shakhtar Donetsk and Mudryk. For the first time in a while now, Arsenal are very confident that their third bid that is incoming will be accepted, especially with Chelsea now stepping aside and stopping of the murkying of the water, as it were. Mudryk has made no he's made it very, very simple to everybody. He only wants Arsenal. He wants to be an Arsenal player, and his wish is very close to coming true. We're also going to take a look at Enzo Fernandez. Could he be about to join João Felix at Chelsea, with Sky now confirming that that deal is still on? And there's a massive hijack potentially going to happen at Chelsea. Chelsea's taking another player from another Premier League club involving Tottenham, and it also involves a weird love triangle with João Felix as well. Let's go. Manchester United have scheduled a new round of talks for Wout Weghorst. The Tiskas insist they have to agree to compensation as they are looking for a replacement. All parties, though, are confident as clubs' position are closer, but still waiting to get it done. And I think most people understand this situation for what it is. Fabrizio gives us that information there, but I think we all understand it. The Turkish outfit don't want to lose him. He's been very, very good for them. They see him as an asset, but they also understand the player has got this potential dream move to a club the size of Man United with a manager that he believes can demonstrate his overall quality. I think a player like Wout Weghorst has likely not got to the level that he believed he could be at. He's playing top level professional football. He's been in the Premier League. He's been in the Bundesliga. He's playing for one of the biggest teams in Turkey. Scored goals at the World Cup. But there is this desire from so many top players to be at giant clubs, to be a big boy, to prove I could have done it. I could have scored goals if I was given the chance at a major club for a big manager in the biggest moments. With the spotlight on me, I can step up. This deal is going to happen. This deal is going to happen, in my opinion. I would be very shocked if it fell through. I would be very surprised if Man United, Burnley, and Batiskas could not get a deal done. The player has already agreed personal terms. Burnley are happy for him to join Manchester United. And it may not be the number one choice of Ten Hag, but it's certainly a player that he thinks fits the mold. Our manager, the Man United manager, wants an out-and-out number 9. That is what Weghorst is, and he is on his way to the Manchester United after these talks, most people believe. Now, what I want is your thoughts and feelings on this deal. United fans are split on it. Some think it's good. Some think it's really bad. But I want to get your take on that right now, ladies and gentlemen. In other news, Shakhtar Donetsk finally shows signs of cracking over the Mudryk deal as Arsenal make positive steps towards an agreement during talks on Monday. The first time the Gunners have received an indication a deal could be struck on what they consider to be realistic terms. Now, as I said in the intro, Chelsea murkied the waters on this deal. And I mean that with respect. Arsenal had their first bid rejected, which they knew they would. It was a marker bid. I think that's the word that's being used. The second bid was being considered for a number of days until Chelsea stepped in with their size 10 boots on and said, we'll outbid Arsenal. They essentially did Shakhtar's work for them, enabling them to reject that second bid. There's always been a public stance from Shakhtar that they want 100 million euros, but most industry insiders do not believe that In reality, they want that amount. They're happier for somewhere between 70 and 80 million in totality, with around 50 to 60 million being a guaranteed fee plus some performance related add-ons. And that's pretty much where this is going to end up. I think it'll be somewhere closer to the 70 million all in, around 50 million as a guarantee, with around 20 million pounds of add-ons. That is in and around what I think this deal will come in as. I'm talking euros here as well, not pounds sterling. But Arsenal are very, very confident. Arsenal believe they can get this deal done. Arsenal believe that they're leading the race, and they've got every right to, because Mudryk has made it clear from day one. He has been very conspicuous in his approach that he wants to be an Arsenal player. It's his dream move. He has an excitement about playing for Mikel Arteta, a desire to be in the red part of North London, and a want to be part of this growth, development, and returning to the top table of the Gooners. And of course, Arsenal fans will deliberate and they will debate as to what are the best positions. Do we actually need a midfielder? We saw last night, no Lokonga. Lokonga isn't good enough. Sorry. If there's no Partey or Xhaka, what do we do? My kind of question to Arsenal fans is, how much do you trust Arteta and Edu? Because they are prioritizing this role. In fact, in the summer, they weren't looking at a midfielder above and beyond looking at Rafinha. If you remember correctly, Jesus was happening, but they were looking at Rafinha. They see the attack and the goals as even more important than the midfield. And if the rebuild and the growth is as special as Arsenal fans claim it to be, and we've got every reason to believe them, because so far it's the greatest start to a season that Arsenal have ever had in their history, I think maybe some faith needs to be put in Mikel Arteta here. This comes, of course, after missing out on João Felix. João Felix's deal to Chelsea will expect to close in the next 24 to 48 hours, of the details now being finalised. And what's very intriguing about this is it's kind of bittersweet for Arsenal fans. When the news first came out, João Felix has picked the Chelsea project. He prefers Chelsea. And I think there was some disappointment amongst Arsenal fans. There was definitely some disappointment amongst Manchester United fans, that, and people I follow in the United community, because we wanted him. But you now look at that deal that Chelsea have done, and I'm going to be blunt, it's not the greatest. But Chelsea's situation dictates that they can't worry about the summer. They have to worry about the here and now. They've got to get themselves back into Europe. They need to throw as much as they can, and there's an opportunity to bring in one of the best young talents, one of the best forwards in European football. The deal is essentially this: you pay us £10 million plus all the salary. That's it. In the summer, he returns. What's interesting is the reason that Ati are willing to let him go is that there's problems between him and Diego Simeone. It's now being heavily reported that Simeone will leave in the summer. On top of that, Atletico are extending his contract to 2027, meaning come the summer, he may just decide to stay at Ati. Ati might want him, he may stay. Equally, Chelsea have no control over the next destination outside of making him fall in love with Stamford Bridge and spend, paying the asking price. So you could argue they have a slight advantage over other clubs, but they have no control. My understanding is that Man United and Arsenal didn't want to be in that position. They wanted an element of a option to buy that they get first refusal on for a set price that nobody else can get involved in. And I think Atletico will warm into that idea. There's a big report in the Mirror over the weekend that Arsenal had got the loan fee down to about 9.5 million, 10 million, which is what Chelsea are paying, and a £70 million option to buy. But if Chelsea, as David Ornstein have reported, not David Ornstein, Ben Jacobs reported, have come in the last few moments and said, actually, look, we'll just give you what you want, Ati. Of course, Atletico were going to accept that. Of course, they were going to accept it. Arsenal then step away, United step away, and it's all she wrote. But it's going to be an interesting deal for Chelsea that's closing in. Furthermore, according to Sky in Germany, despite Benfica being angry and insisting the deal is off, they are another outlet that have now said that the conversation and situation between Chelsea and Enzo Fernandez is not dead, is not off. And Chelsea are now offering players, including Hakim Ziyech, as part of the deal. And what I will say is this: there's no guarantee this deal will happen. but I still think it's going to rear its head big time at some point in January. You've also got Chelsea looking at Pedro Porro. Now, Pedro Porro to Chelsea is an interesting one. Very good player, very good right back. Has a clause, though, so it's going to be expensive. And it would mean taking a player away from Tottenham. But the interesting factor here is the quote unquote love triangle between João Felix, Pedro Porro, and João Felix's girlfriend, his partner. There are heavy rumors that she and Pedro Porro have been having affairs, seeing each other, sleeping with each other together behind the scenes. And this transfer is intriguing. I mean, I didn't know about this until today because I don't really get involved in the social lives of footballers as best I can, especially not footballers outside the Prem. I just don't do the gossip columns. But this is an interesting one because if Chelsea are bringing these two together, for me, there's three options. Option 3 can't exist if they're coming together, and I'll get to that. Option 1 is none of this happened. It's just rumors. Option 2 is that João Felix enjoys it. You know, he's a bit of a cuck. But option 3 would be that this has to be true. But if it's true, you can't bring them both together. Unless option 2 is right, that João Felix gets something out of it. I don't know. Maybe it's his kink. I'm not going to kink shame a man. I'm just saying it's going to be an intriguing one if this still happens. But Chelsea looking to spend big. Chelsea looking to spend big. They've already done 340 this summer. If all three of these deals come in, you are talking £500 million worth of transfers. I need your take on that, Terrace community. I need your thoughts on this. I really do. It's a huge amount of money. Listen, people, until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you very much